You know, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it was so powerful. And we're not talking about over a very long period of time. But I think you know exactly what I'm saying. They had such power, Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress, and now it doesn't.
Let's talk about the connection with Mossad. Now, we've already covered, there's already been other whistleblowers that have come out and told us, there's two already that we've covered on this show, two whistleblowers from inside TPUSA that said that there was definitely Mossad infiltration into TPUSA and they were running things. So now here's a third one. So now here's your whistleblower, Matthew, and here's what he says about it.
There was a conversation that I had with Liz Harris, who used to be part of the Arizona House of Representatives.
Yeah, we know Liz.
Yep. I had a conversation with her. I have it recorded too, because in Arizona, you can record conversations. She literally said to me, Turning Point's Mossad. Tyler Boyer is Mossad. They're all neocons.
Liz Harris told you this?
Liz Harris told me this. I have the recording.
She told you Tyler Boyer was Mossad?
Yep. Yep. And neocons. They're the neocons and they're connected to Mossad. I have it all on recording. So that's when and these are the people that tried to warn me about Turning Point. Liz tried to warn me. My friend Luke tried to warn me. A lot of people tried to warn me, but I wanted to see for myself. I'm that kind of person because I am here for the truth. And I wanted to see for myself. And when Charlie died, that was it for me. It was time to come out. It was time to come clean and let everybody know what I witnessed, participated in. And I do apologize to the American people. I really do.
So here is that phone call that he's talking about with Liz Smith, who, by the way, was a former representative in the House in Arizona. So
yeah, committee woman.
Let's and a Republican. Let's listen to what she has had to say on this phone call.
The other very delicate thing we have going on is all this stuff with Israel. Now, Thaler is Jewish. Breger is Jewish. Like, when I say Jewish, I mean, like, not, they're very Jewish, meaning very, Bev Goldstein, like, there's so many names I can throw out that I do believe when we look at Turning Point and we look at all of this, I do see Mossad. I see there again. There's so many other things where I'm connecting dots. I think Alex Jones is controlled by them. Charlie Kirk's controlled by them. Steve Bannon. I can't believe nobody's killed me. I really can't. I have no idea why.
Because God is protecting right now. There's a lot of people that I'm surprised are not dead right now, but nobody gets to do anything unless God gives it permission.
And I'm with you, Liz. I mean, I've already had people show up to my door from what I've exposed, but I'm still alive. We're meant to be alive.
So when she says that the Mossad was actually controlling Charlie Kirk, I think there might have been a time when he didn't realize he had handlers, just like Candace Owens has revealed that she found out Charlie had handlers, and then she found out, she goes, I had handlers. I didn't even know it. And so I think that's what happened, that Charlie, his organization was infiltrated by the Mossad. He didn't know it.
Anybody who has a big platform has people who are trying to insert themselves into their direct orbit to do that.
Right.
We saw this. A lot of people made this excuse for Donald Trump in 2020. Does everybody remember this or no? During COVID-19, it was the scarf lady, Deborah Birx, and that rat-faced demon, Tony Fauci, and everybody was saying, well, it's not Trump's fault. Now, of course, there are people who have the real TDS who are just people who are just obsessed with this guy and they'll never leave his side and they will support him right off the cliff that he's dragging our country off of. But, a lot of people said, well, it was the people that were around him. It was the Rochelle Walensky's and it was, like all these other people that were advising the president. and he was kind of cut off from the outside world. Well, to a certain extent, that's true. And I could just take my own personal experience. I had a handler. I had multiple people that were inside of my organization in one way or another or attached to it who were trying to handle me. They were trying to handle me with money. There were millions of dollars on the line when I started talking about this, the same thing that Charlie Kirk started talking about at the end of his life. And I started to look at this overrepresentation, and I had concerns about the power structure in our bureaucracy. And I said, I just want to be run by Americans, and I don't understand what this is all about. And so I started getting smeared by the New York Times, and the Rolling Stone called me America's conspiracy kingpin. And the USA Today said, Stu Peters, the guy that radicalized Candace Owens. And they were calling me antiseptic and all these other things. And I'm thinking to myself, where is this coming from? I mean, I just did an interview with the survivors of the USS Liberty at their reunion event. Like, I just sat down and talked to them. I knew nothing about this, but it was that vitriolic kind of visceral response that told me, oh, well, I'm on to something. Well, at this time, coming off the heels of COVID, I had a huge platform. I was all over YouTube. I'd been kicked off of there for COVID disinformation. Then I was allowed back on. But I had a huge following. The largest in history organically built Rumble channel is the Stu Peters Network. And all of this money was around. People wanted to be attached until I started talking about or questioning this issue. And then it was like I started getting text messages from people that worked for me that were handling some of these sponsor relationships. And they were acting as the conduit or the liaison. And they were saying to me, well, hey, we've got a sponsorship issue here that we need to discuss. And I'm like, well, what's that? Well, it's relating to the content on your show. And my response was, the content of my show has nothing to do with the advertisers. If they're happy with the audience that we're putting them in front of and happy with their return on their investment, that's as far as the conversation goes. I do not want to talk to these people about this. And then it kind of started to be a nagging thing. And I'm like, okay, so I had a meeting with Lauren Witzke, who at the time was working for me. And I said, what's this all about? What is this? And so we had a conversation. It turns out this is what the issue was. And I said, well, what exactly are they asking me to do? And when it came down to, hey, we want you to change your language. We want you to soften the message. We want you to not say these things. It was a no-go place for me. I was not having that. And when I found out why and who these people were and what was going on, I walked away from millions of dollars a year and lost my YouTube channel, and I lost my Spotify and my Apple Podcasts. We're back on now, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But, these people were absolutely trying to do that. And it wasn't just the overt leverage of money, which was easily detectable, but it was also the people, and I'm not saying this of Lauren Witzke, I'm not making allegations here, but I'm just saying there were people that were around me inside of the organization that we needed as labor savers because I was going all over the place. But I only hire people who I know or who someone who I know personally knows. And we don't have a huge organization. We have a handful of a dozen people that work with us. That was it. But I found out that some of these people were doing relationships, having relationships with other people who were then taking their words and trying to come at me with them as if they were their own and trying to influence the things that I was doing or the places that I was going, or moreover, the people that I was associating myself with. And so I just had to get rid of all that. And now I have, 4 people that work here. And so, I'm never letting I don't want to grow any bigger, but I do, but you understand what I'm saying as far as all these people. But there is a door that opens, and I can understand how people get insulated. It happens. And when you have Charlie Kirk, who is, in and out of meetings with the president, and he's in front of tens of thousands of people at a time, and he's running the organization that's taking credit for getting Trump elected, and everybody knows who you are, and you're running this multi-million dollar organization, you could be insulated. You're just too busy. Your phone's ringing all the time. I've got 2 of them because, everybody has this one and only a few people have this one. You have this one. But, I don't want it ringing off the hook. So I've insulated myself to a certain extent, but it just happens when you're busy and people take advantage of that. I believe that Charlie Kirk was living a real life version of the Truman Show. I really do. I think that he kind of woke up to this all at once. And I would bet that it was at Bill Ackman's mansion in the Hamptons.
That's right. I agree with you on that. 100%. Let me